Hey guys, it's Hailey, and today's video is going to be a decluttering video. I recently did my eyeshadow palette collection video, and when I did that I realized there were a lot of palettes that I had that I felt that I could get rid of and that I didn't use enough. So today I'm going to do a decluttering, and I don't really have a goal for this today, but I'm just kind of gonna see what I have, what I want to get through, want to get rid of, and want to make space for, you know what I mean? So, you know, this is my first decluttering video I've ever done, so, you know, forgive me if there's not a lot that I'm gonna end up getting rid of, because eyeshadow palettes are my favorite part of my collection, and I really love eyeshadow palettes. So there may not be that many I get rid of, but I still wanted to film it anyway. So I wanted to mention that the ones that I get rid of, I believe I'm going to have linked to my Depop shop. So if you are interested in any, I will leave that information down below so you can check it out and possibly buy any for a discounted price. So let's just get started. So first is my Kylie Cosmetics Bronze Palette. I love this palette. Definitely not getting rid of this. This is just a phenomenal palette, and I just really love it. Next is this NARS Loaded eyeshadow palette. I'm still trying to like this. Whenever I first got it and first saw it, I was like, that is such a beautiful palette. It's so pretty, and you know, it's such a pretty palette, so aesthetically pleasing, but I didn't love the way the eyeshadows performed, but I'm still using it and I'm still trying to decide if I like it. Like, I want to like it, so I'm gonna continue using this. Next, this is new. This is my NYX Earth palette. They just came out with these. I'd like to get the Fire palette as well, but the packaging is so beautiful, and these are what the shades look like. I love these green shades. And I just really wanted this palette. I thought the shades were just really beautiful. The quality is not, like, it's okay, it's just not blowing my mind, and what sucks is this was a $30 palette for NYX, so that's what's making me not want to buy the Fire palette, because the Fire palette has really pretty colors, but the quality of this isn't, like, I don't think it's worth $30, but I'm gonna hold on to this because I've only used it 2 or 3 times, and I'm still working with it, so yeah. Next, this is new. This is the Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes palette. I just did a video that will be linked. I am really enjoying this palette. I think the colors are beautiful and they work really nicely. They blend really nicely. Each color is pigmented and is able to stand on its own. The only one I don't really love is this Peach Sangria shade, but I have really been enjoying this palette, so I'm gonna keep it. My Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, obviously I'm keeping this. It's so stunning. I love the shades in this, and I will never get rid of this. I love this, and it's probably one of my top favorite palettes. Now, these eyeshadow palettes are the ones that are like in my, like on top of my vanity. These are some of my favorites, so a lot of these probably won't be decluttered until, like, these probably won't. Once I get into my bottom drawer, those will be the ones that are probably decluttered, but I'll still go through these. This is the Too Faced Peanut Butter and Jelly palette. I love this palette. This shade Nuts About You and Peanut Brittle are just so stunning, and it's a great palette keeping. Then I have the Smashbox Ablaze palette. I love the packaging and the shades in this. It's just really nice and compact, and I really enjoy having this palette and using this palette. Next, I have the Naked Heat palette. I really enjoy this. This is probably one of my favorite Naked palettes. The shade Cayenne is one of my favorites. It's so beautiful, and I just really enjoy this keeping. Next, I have the Tartelette in Bloom. I'm obviously gonna keep this one. It's just got such great shades, and it's just really gorgeous and easy to use, so I'm keeping this. Kat Von D shade in My Eye. I was one of the last people ever to get this. That's why mine's in like the plasticky packaging instead of the cardboard. I'm still trying to figure out the hype in this. I'm gonna keep it, and I'm working on it. I just haven't used it very much. I just have basically used this little quad here, but I am keeping this. This is the Anastasia Subculture palette. I was one of the people that liked this palette. I think the shade range is so stunning and I'm gonna keep this. I really enjoy it. I really love the shade Roxy. It's just beautiful. It's one of my favorite shades. I didn't have as many problems with this as other people. I don't know, I like it. This is the Kylie Royal Peach palette. This is probably the only one I'd say on my top drawer that I'm kind of like, maybe I'll pass this on. So I made a video on this. I made a few videos on this. This was in a favorites and I really enjoyed it at the time, but I just haven't used it. But now that I look at it, I just want to keep it. Look how pretty those colors are. I know the blue just didn't work for me. I didn't think the blue was very good, but all the other shades just worked really well. And you know what? Now looking at the colors, I'm gonna hold on to this because I want to use it some more, and it's really pretty. Next is the Natasha Denona Sunset palette. Of course, I'm gonna keep this. I love this palette. I spent way too much money on this palette, but you can see I've like gotten in there and it's a little dirty, but it's just such a beautiful palette. Keeping it. I have a video on this I will link. Next is the Tarte Man Eater palette. This is a great palette. I love this for like travel. It's just really a wonderful, easy to use palette. Next is the Master Palette by Mario. Obviously I'm keeping this. This is one of my top favorite palettes. It's just so easy to go to. You've got your transitions and deepening shade here, and then you can use any of the shimmers on your lid. This is just a beautiful palette and I'm keeping it. This is one of the only Too Faced chocolate bar palettes that I think I will keep. I love, this is the semi-sweet one, so it's the second one. I really enjoyed this palette and I love the shades and the tones, and this is just my favorite one. I have found that I don't use the other ones, but I do use this one, so I'm gonna keep this one. And then obviously I'm keeping the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. This is my favorite palette ever. It's just got the prettiest shades. I love every shade in this palette and I use this very often. This is this is the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. I'm just keeping this even though this isn't my favorite palette. It's really good to reference to for YouTube videos and I'm gonna hold on to it. And I do get some use out of it, even though it's not my favorite, but yeah, I'm gonna hold on to this. And then I've got my Marc Jacobs Scandalous palette. This is a new palette I have. I really love it. The shades are just so stunning, and I'm going to hold on to this. Now we are getting into palettes on my bottom drawer, and these are probably where we're gonna start getting rid of palettes. So first one I have is my Lorac Pro. I'm going to keep this. I really love this palette. I've gotten a lot of use out of this, and I've hit a lot of pan on taupe, and then a lot of these shades are about to hit pan. I get a lot of use out of this and I really love it. Same thing with the Lorac Pro 2. I really enjoyed this one. This is the Urban Decay Gwen Stefani palette, and I think I will probably pass this on because while I do love the shades, I just don't use it, and I love the packaging, but I think I'm going to pass it on. Manny MUA eyeshadow palette, I'm going to keep. I love this palette. The shades are stunning. The quality is great. This is the MAC Warm Neutrals eyeshadow palette, and I would keep this just because this is the only MAC palette that I have, but I don't really like the quality of it. I don't really use it ever, so I will be passing this along. Now this is the Marc Jacobs The Lover palette. I'm going to pass this along. I don't like the shades and I don't ever use this. This is the Buxom palette. This is a custom one that I made, but I'm going to pass this along because I have these shades in many other palettes and I don't need these shades. This is the Estee Lauder Beach Metals Little Trio. I love this. I'm gonna keep these. As you can see, I've gone through a lot of this and this is just a backup, so I'm gonna keep these. This is the Naked on the Run. I'm going to get rid of this. I did use the 3 things in here and that's just what I liked in it, and I didn't use these at all, so I'm gonna get rid of this. This is the Urban Decay The Great and Powerful Oz. This is the Glinda palette. I'm going to keep this because I love the shades and everything, and I just like, it's such a beautiful palette. and I'm going to hold on to this. Next I have my Naked 1 palette. I'm going to keep, I like this one enough and I'm going to hold on to this. Naked 2, I'm going to keep, obviously. If you know me, this is my favorite Naked palette. I love the shades and it's stunning. This is the It's Judy Time palette. I'm going to pass this along. This is the Shade and Light Quad in Rust, and I'm going to keep this. This is from Kat Von D, and this is great. This is the Makeup Forever Artist eyeshadow palette in the one. I don't know, it's the nude one. I'm gonna keep this. The quality of these are stunning, and I love the shades. This is the BH Cosmetics Wild and Free palette. I'm gonna use this because I'm gonna keep this because I actually do use this. I love these shades right here, they're so beautiful. Next I have the NYX Ultimate palette in Warm Neutrals, and I'm gonna put this in a maybe pile because I think I could get rid of this because I don't use it as much, and I have higher end eyeshadow palettes that have like the same type of look. But it would be nice to have this for a drugstore video, so I'm gonna hold on to this and put it in a maybe pile. This is the Maybelline Eye Studio in Copper Chic. I don't use this, but you know what? The shades are really pretty. That one kind of... I'm gonna hold on to this because those are really pretty. This is a Merle Norman little trio in the shade Rumor Has It, and I'm going to pass this along. I don't get use out of this. This is the Violet Voss Holy Grail palette. I'm going to keep this. I really like the shades and I like this palette a lot. This is the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette, and I'm gonna keep this just because this is the only palette I have that has shades like this, and I may decide to pass it on later, but for now I'm going to hold on to it because I don't have anything else that has shades like this. This is the Urban Decay Naked Smoky palette, and I'm gonna hold on to this just because I love these matte shades. Well, I also like these, but this is the only like smoky palette that I have. I feel like I probably could get rid of this, but I know like there's a specific go-to look that I use with this palette using this gray shade, so I am gonna hold on to this because I do get use out of it. This is the Smashbox Shape Matters palette, and I like this palette. I probably could get rid of this. I like having this palette, but the thing is, I think I could get rid of this. Yeah, I'm going to pass this along just because I don't use this anymore, and I did really like this whenever I got it, but looking at the eyeshadows, I have colors like that. Same with these. I'm just gonna pass this along. I don't need it. So next I have the Kat Von D Too Faced collab here. I'm going to keep this Kat Von D side because I am so in love with every shade in this Kat Von D side. They're so stunning. But I'm going to get rid of the Too Faced side. I don't like this. It's very, I have a lot of colors like this and it's not mind-blowing, and I'm gonna pass it on. This is the BH Cosmetics Forever Nude palette. This is one of the first palettes I got. I'm gonna pass this on. I don't really like it. I haven't used it for a very long time. This is the Naked Cosmetics little trio. This was in a BoxyCharm. I'm gonna pass this on, I think, because while I do like these shades, look how intense those are. The only one I really love though is this middle one. Look at that. I'm gonna hold on to this now because look at those, but I may later decide that I don't want to keep this. This is the NARS Dual Intensity eyeshadow palette, and I'm gonna get rid of this. I don't use this, I don't love it. It has a really pretty shades in it, but they work best with a finger, and I'm just not, I don't like using my finger to do eyeshadow, so I'm gonna get rid of this. Next I have the Morphe Kathleen Lights palette. I'm gonna keep this because I love Kathleen Lights and I wanna work with it some more. This is the CoverGirl True Naked Jewels palette, and I think I'm gonna pass this along because I didn't really like the quality in this, and I really just liked this shade right here, which this one's really pretty. But just in general, the quality of these shades are just chunky and glittery, and I don't like them, so I'm gonna pass this along. Next I have the Urban Decay Naked Basics, and while I probably could get rid of this, I'm going to hold on to it for now, just because this was like the first eyeshadow palette I ever got, so it's kind of nostalgic to me, so I am gonna hold on to this. This is the Laura Mercier IR Artist palette, and I absolutely love this palette. I'm gonna hold on to it, and I love the shades. It's pretty much one of the only palettes I have that I have these purples in it that I love and use. Most purples I just don't use, but the quality of these and the tones of these look really good on me, and I enjoy this palette. This is the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette, and I'm going to pass this along. I really just like this shade for the shade, or this palette for the shade Molasses Chip, and I feel like this shade is in other palettes that I have. I also really love this Earl Grey shade, and this is unique, but I'm going to pass this along. And this is the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, and as much as I want to love this, I'm going to pass it on because I just don't use this. I prefer my semi-sweet chocolate bar, and I'm just going to pass this along. This is the Jeffree Star Androgyny palette. I'm gonna hold on to this because I want to do some looks comparing this to the Subculture palette. And also, it's just got really pretty colors. I love this military shade. I've been really getting into greens lately, so I'm gonna hold on to this. But lately, you haven't seen this, but I got rid of the Kat Von D Chrysalis palette, so I don't have that in this video to show you, but I did actually declutter that and give it to someone else who would like it more than me. But this is the Kat Von D Monarch palette, and I'm gonna hold on to this because this is the one out of the two that I really enjoyed. I love the colors and the quality. This is the Stila Perfect Me, Perfect You Eye and Cheek palette in shade Tan Deep, and I'm going to pass this along because while I do really like the shades, I have other palettes I use more than this, and I just don't reach for it. So these are the last of my eyeshadow palettes. This is the Smashbox Masterclass palette, and I'm gonna keep this. This is another one that's nostalgic to me. I use this to take my senior pictures, and I just really love these shades over here. So I'm gonna hold on to this, and yeah. Next is the Morphe 350, and here's the deal. I think I'm gonna get rid of this. Because while it is drugstore and it is pretty, I have all these colors in other palettes, and all I use in this palette are these shades over here, and these. There's just so many browns that I don't need. So I think I am gonna pass this along because I don't need it, and I have other drugstore palettes that I like better than this. This is my Tartiste Pro palette, and while I probably would get rid of this because I don't use it very much, my grandpa got this for me for Christmas. My grandpa is my favorite person in the world, and I love him more than anything. So I'm gonna hold on to this. I probably won't ever get rid of this. This is the Lorac Mega Pro 2. I'm gonna hold on to this because I love this palette. I think the shades are so stunning. I love Melon, Tangerine, Goji, Peony, you know, Penny, Olivine, Prosecco. Like, the more I look at this, the more I'm like, oh, I love that color, I love that color, I love that color. Like, it's just a stunning palette. My Kat Von D Metal Matte Eyeshadow Palette, I am going to keep. It's so stunning. I love it. So the only one I had as a maybe is this NYX Ultimate Basics, and here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna see if anyone that I know wants this palette, and if they do, I'm gonna give it to them. But if no one wants it and no one wants to buy it off my Depop, I will hold on to it. So if anyone wants it on my Depop, it will be there. Elsewise, I'm going to hold on to it. So these are all the eyeshadow palettes I'm getting rid of. So in total, I got rid of 17. So while I do have a lot of palettes that I didn't get rid of, I did get rid of 17, and that's more than I figured I was going to. So that's a nice little pile, and it will definitely free up some space. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and see, you know, if there's anything else you'd like me to declutter, let me know, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.